first of all, you learn that you are not the smartest man in the room. I think you, and this is a very important thing to remember.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Leumi Tech, sponsored by Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Turing, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and in media partnership with CTech. From the Ministry of Justice to the startup ecosystem. Meet Udi Nessimyan, CEO and co-founder of Sealed. Udi takes a vision and makes it a reality through sound strategy development. As a savvy entrepreneur, he intuitively sees the threads of opportunity that wind through an organization, brings them together into a coherent whole, helps others extend their thinking, and drives material business advantage. He is an experienced chief executive officer with a demonstrated history of working in the cloud, cybersecurity, and telecommunications industries. He's skilled in government, M&As, public cloud services, and sales and pre-sales. Udi Nessimyan, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Michael.
I'm really excited to have you. Obviously, where this is a really weird time to be doing these sorts of interviews. The skies right now are still not lit up with explosives, but for now, things are good to go. So I'm excited to gain inspiration as a young entrepreneur from your journey. Udi, just like I articulated before we started, I don't even know where to begin, whether it's from your time as Chief Information Officer of the Israeli Ministry of Justice, your time at Oracle, AWS, currently your entrepreneurial journey with Sealed, so many different lessons. And so what I'd love to do is ask you, what have you learned, that you feel in your core from all these experiences as you mature with the industry and you're seeing a lot of these different companies interacting in a really massive scale with different sectors. What do you learn about yourself and about the world we live in the tech ecosystem?
Well, first of all, you learn that you are not the smartest man in the room. I think you, and this is a very important thing to remember. And why is that? Because everywhere you go, you learn something new, and it's not only to learn it; it's to remember it and use it in a later stage. And this is what I'm bringing with I think my carrying on my back along the journey that I've done. I remember reflections from every meetings that I've done in the Ministry of Justice, in the Prime Minister's office, in Oracle, in the Amazon, and different startups that I've been encountering along the way. And I'm carrying a small portion of every meeting, of every interaction, and using it in my future journey. So this is what I've learned. I've learned to learn, to listen, and I'm trying to take it with me along the way. I know it's a bit philosophical, but this is something that yeah.
I love it. I love both going up 30,000 feet in the air and coming down. And we also discovered that we share a common person that we both like very much, Shavit Matias, that you worked with at your time in the Justice Department, my mom. And so I love, how small this ecosystem is and this world is where I get to find these awesome connections. Udi, you mentioned before to me that you're customer obsessed and you're always positioning yourself to think as a customer and think through the customer. What does that mean in your eyes?
Listen, I've been running and managed hundreds of millions of dollars of operations as a customer. I worked in front of different vendors, from SMEs to giant US corporates, trying to provide me solutions, and everything was as they thought that I need to say. And I encountered different ways of sales as a customer, and sometimes they were inspiring, sometimes they were out of the scope totally, and I've learned I've learned to be obsessed by what the customer wants, trying to understand what the customer wants, and it goes all the way back from trying to design your product, build your product, try to find the product market fit, and develop solutions that will fit to what your customer needs. And what your customer needs is what he says he's needing, not what you think he's needing. And and always try to think as a customer when you design your UI, when you design your functionality, when you design everything that you want to sell. How do you want to buy it, to use it, to consume it, and so on. Then in the latest, I knew that this is how things should be. I didn't know how to say it until I arrived to Amazon. And when I worked at Amazon, there are lots of good things you can say about Amazon. There are some bad things that you can say about Amazon that you can learn a lot from where you are. One of the good things that I've learned from Amazon is that you need to think backward, okay? And when you're thinking backward, you putting yourself as a customer and trying to think what you can do, what you're going to do with the new innovation that you're going to provide to your customers. And they call it customer obsessed. So you have to be obsessed by what your customer needs and not what you want to sell to your customer. And this is what I'm trying to do wherever I'm going, since now I have the wording for it, but I have it back then in my DNA.
Doing a look at your journey, it's really cool because you're going from working in a government setting, highly bureaucratic. I'm guessing. If I had my fair share of time in similar
Yeah.
settings, and then to corporates like Oracle, Amazon, and now to an entrepreneur running your own startup. Is that by chance that you're sort of going from a lot of bureaucracy to you deciding what it looks like? Because it looks like really gradual steps towards, at the culminating in this startup that you're working on today.
Well, you're right. I don't know if I would like to go back to work for the government, although the scale of what we've done there is amazing, and launching projects, the anti-money laundering system for the Israeli anti-money laundering department, or the Israeli
Wow.
computer authority is something or the paperless environment for all the legislative system in Israel. Everything is paperless in Israel. This is one of the first projects in the world that we've done. This is something that you cannot
Wow.
do anywhere else in this scale, but you have to encounter bureaucracy. You have to work with the tender laws. You have and this is what I've tried to cut back in my last role in the Israeli government at the Prime Minister's office, trying to make things much more efficient. Uh, with some success, I must tell. I look at what the Israeli government is doing now with the cloud project that they forced the cloud giants to build infrastructure here on the land in Israel, which I think is unnecessary. You don't need to have region in ground in Israel. But the I'm not going into the the reasons that all the giants compete on that. But bureaucracy provides you a different narrative of thinking. Things are going very slow, and I think when you look at business, private businesses, how they don't, if they would rely on the government, I think we didn't see this prosperous ecosystem of startups in the high tech industry here in Israel. The reason I'm saying that is we have like a parallel universe of conducting business. If you look at what's going on with the government and what's going on in the business sector, those are parallel universe. different way of conducting business. I do believe that there are, we are in the 21st century. I do believe there are lots of different ways on how to make everything clear, legit, and fast and swift with tender process. And but we are not we're not saying this there. And it's sadly to say, I think because of that, we are losing lots of talent in the government, wherever you go, not only in Israel, but in all the public sector all around the globe. You see that lots of talented are not going there; they are moving to the industry.
What I was saying is that the incentives, it seems that the incentives have pretty much shifted as well in the private sector, along with the public sector. If we're looking at young millennials like myself, young entrepreneurs, why they join certain companies after they gain the education that both the public and the private sectors need. It is no longer just about the compensation. It is no longer just about the equity. There's a lot of different factors that go in, whether it's culture, whether it's meaning, vision behind leaders. And so I think that a lot of people need to think critically about what do incentives look like, especially for this new generation that is a little bit different. And the public sector has to adapt in some way, because at the end, the talent is
Exactly.
the talent speaks. Now, Udi, a little bit about sealed AI, because after you're gaining all these amazing experiences from these different organizations, you're deciding now to be an entrepreneur and to lead this company. And even before you tell me what Sealed AI does, which is very, very cool on its own, tell me a little bit about some of the leadership aspects that you're bringing as the CEO after having been a leader in a lot of these other
Yeah.
organizations. What do you bring?
Okay. So first of all, we started Sealed with a huge amount of technology and trying to think what we can do with that. Sealed was three patents, very strong MVNO technology, and it was meant to serve B2C customers, B2C ventures. And then this is where I first met Sild. It was called by other name, and they came to me and said, "What can we do with that?" As try to think with us what to do with this technology. This is something interesting. Can we do something else with that? And and we sat together. I said, I don't know. Let's hear. Let's see what is it. And we sat together, and we did again. We're going back to Amazon. We uh, we did what they do in Amazon. It's called working backward workshops, and we worked backward. We said if we would have those capabilities, and I sat with Silt development team, how can we sell it to the customer? What we can do? And it grew. We brainstormed for 2 days in a
Very,
closed
very
room,
cool.
and we came out of the room with what Still is doing right now, and it's totally, completely different than what it was at the beginning. And I came to that empty-handed, without any type of knowledge of what Still is doing now. I'm not coming from this business, and but this is where we are, and this is where the journey take us. Yeah, took us.
I love it. So, Sealed. What is Sealed?
So Silt is actually a ragtech company, a regulation technology company based on conversation intelligence. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are trying to understand conversations that happens to be in fintech companies, the customers of fintech companies talking to the sales representative of those companies, and we are monitoring those interactions and understanding what's going on and alerting on different regulation breaches, compliance issues, and so on. This is what SEAL does. Okay, we started this journey with a very massive, impressive voice over IP telephony system, which can take any language, understand what's been said in any language, and run on mobile devices. And then we shifted that to compliance, to regulation technology that actually does conversational intelligence. This is what SIL does.
And how do you bring this customer obsession that you learned throughout your career to Sealed today?
So SIL was a journey, okay? It was, when you look at conversational intelligence, it's like a mountain. It's the Everest. Okay, there's a huge mountain of conversation, and you said, "I want to understand what's going on." And then once you understand it, there's different use cases and different variations that you can take. If you look at Gong.io, okay, Gong.io gives you best practices for salespersons. Gong.io, Chorus, and others, uh, uh, trying to improve the way you sell to increase the conversion rates of sales and so on. And this is amazing. Those are amazing companies, and this is amazing path that they took along the way up to the conversational intelligence mountain. We choose a different path. Okay, this path is trying to understand the conversation and alert on suspicious compliance issues. Okay, or regulation breaches and so on. There are different. If you look at productivity, if you look at sales engagement, if you look at healthcare conversations between patients and doctors, and you want to understand what's been said, to make the process more efficient, to alert on different drug prescriptions that have been given to a patient if they are not going well with his record, if he has allergies. There's tons of different aspects that you can do and provide data in real time while the conversation is going. The world is there. Okay, we can analyze audio in real time, and we can provide insights
Wow.
in real time, and we can also build machine learning and analytical tools on top of that. So the conversation that we have now can have floating ideas around us, trying to understand what I'm saying, even fix my broken English and correct it so you can have it without grammar and spelling mistakes and whatever. So every or provide you with insights and data, and even contradict what I'm saying by providing you lots of data about what I'm saying and the buzzwords and everything that I'm throwing up in the
I
air.
love it.
So this is actually conversation intelligence. This will be, I believe that if you look at the future, I think everything will be embedded into augmented reality and extended reality, and you'll take the conversation itself, the wording, and so on, and make data out of it, and make the data work for you and run, automatic processes.
Udi, I'm sold, and I can already think of the massive amount of use cases that this is so relevant to, from the day by day to organizational to governmental to societal. It has a lot of implications all across the board, and within just a few minutes, I'm starting to think through the different implications that are really really exciting, and with a huge potential for improvement across the board. I can't believe 20 minutes are almost up, but I have a few last questions for you. Once you're ready for them, let me know.
Well, you gave me the heads up. I didn't prepare along the way, so try and I'll try to shoot from my hip.
I love that. Favorite subject in middle school or high school?
Physics.
Okay. One
Do
of
you
your
know
role
why?
models, somebody that inspires you. Oh, why physics?
Because I was so lousy at it. I really liked it, but I didn't have the patience to study it. But I really like it. I really liked it. I didn't know how to solve one question, but it was very interesting. Yeah.
That may be my favorite answer to this question in a lot of episodes. So thank you for that. One of your role models, somebody that inspires you.
Well, I think President Shimon Peres was very inspiring person. I met him a number of times personally, and he was a friend of my grandfather. I didn't met them
Wow.
together, But whenever I met him, I related to him because he was reminding me my grandfather. He was so smart. He was studying all the time. He was so curious, and I think the curiosity kept him alive and vivid. And so this is one of my role models.
I love it. And what are 3 words that you would use to describe yourself?
Myself, laugh, stay young, and run faster. I
Laugh,
don't know
stay
if
young,
it's
and
three
run
words.
faster.
Run, smile, yeah.
I'm getting the gist of it, and I'm getting the essence behind it, and I'm saying this go back to being customer obsessed, and looking at things in a fresh perspective, and I see that throughout your journey, and it's really really exciting. Udi, thank you for coming on and sharing with me your journey. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed these 20 minutes, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Michael. Good talking to you.
תודה
Bye.
רבה.
Cheers.
תודה רבה.